Welcome to today's edition of Zir News 24, bringing you a roundup of the most important national and international news. It's Thursday, 26th of Saraton, 1404 in the Solar Hijri calendar, corresponding to July 17th, 2025. I'm Pashtuna Aorya Hila, and here are today's top stories from Afghanistan and around the world. Top headlines. Islamic Emirate leader responds to leaked UK documents and resettlement of Afghan allies, saying the general amnesty still stands, and no one is being pursued or punished for past affiliations. Foreign ministers of Uzbekistan and Pakistan arrive in Kabul for trilateral meetings and to sign feasibility studies for the Trans-Afghan mega-project. Aid distribution center in Khan Yunis, Gaza, shuts down after deadly chaos kills at least 20 Palestinians. Ahmed Shara condemns Israeli attacks, urges prioritizing civilian well-being over warfare. Top story, UK-Afghan files and Emirate reaction. The leader of the Islamic Emirate, Mullah Hibatullah Akhundzada, has responded to reports of a covert UK mission to relocate Afghan allies and the exposure of thousands of related documents. He reiterated that the Emirate had declared a general amnesty for all and insisted that no individual has been arrested or targeted for past associations. He dismissed claims that intelligence agencies were monitoring these individuals, calling them baseless. Mullah Hibatullah stated that the Emirate has sufficient records of all relevant individuals in its own ministries, including defense, interior, and intelligence, and does not rely on any leaked UK data. He described the rumors and circulating fear among affected individuals and families as unfounded. Diplomacy. Regional ministers visit Kabul. High-level delegations led by foreign ministers. Bakhtiyor Saidov and Ishaq Dar, Pakistan, arrived in Kabul. They are expected to attend trilateral talks and sign the feasibility studies for the Trans-Afghan Railway project. Acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi welcomed Saidov at the presidential palace. Later, Prime Minister Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund will meet with Saidov to discuss bilateral ties and the progress of regional projects, particularly the Trans-Afghan corridor. Spokesman Hamdullah Fitrat confirmed both ministers will also take part in a trilateral summit with Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Uzbekistan. Islamic Emirate condemns Israeli attacks in Syria. Spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid strongly condemned recent Israeli airstrikes on Damascus and other areas of Syria, calling them a blatant violation of a sovereign nation's rights. He said such systematic aggression destabilizes the entire region and urged influential countries and organizations to intervene and fulfill their responsibilities in halting such attacks. UN Food Program appeals for support to Afghan returnees. The World Food Program, WFP, reports that Afghan returnees from Iran urgently need aid. Over 130,000 individuals have received emergency food supplies this year, but additional funding is now critical. Thousands of Afghan families are returning daily through the Islam Kala border crossing, enduring long hours of travel with little access to food or shelter. Extreme heat, dust, and lack of resources have made conditions severe in the border town. WFP is appealing to international agencies for greater collaboration and support. Climate. Afghan Environment Chief meets UNDP. Mullah Matiul Haq Khalis, head of Afghanistan's National Environmental Protection Agency, met with UNDP's Sergei Volkov, head of the Climate Change and Energy Division. They discussed environmental degradation, drought, floods, and Afghanistan's vulnerability to climate change, as well as joint projects to strengthen green infrastructure and clean energy initiatives. Global segment. Stay with us for world news. Escalating crisis in Gaza and West Bank. In Khan Yunis, an aid distribution center shut down after at least 20 people were killed in a stampede triggered by gas and crowding. Since May, Israeli soldiers have killed over 870 Palestinians near aid zones. Gaza's health ministry reports a new medical aid convoy arrived today, provided by WHO and UNICEF, but it does not include food. Elsewhere, 18 Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks this morning, 13 of them in Gaza City. 2 Israeli soldiers were also critically injured in northern Gaza. In Syria, a Druze religious leader condemned Israeli strikes on Damascus, stating that any attack on Syria is an attack on the Druze people. In the West Bank, 8 Palestinians were detained overnight and 2 homes rigged for demolition. Ahmed Shara rejects war, prioritizes civilian welfare. Ahmed Shara, head of Syria's interim government, denounced Israel's strike on the defense ministry in Damascus. He said, "We do not seek war, but we will defend our people and land. Our priority is not displays of power, but the well-being of our citizens." He emphasized local leadership should be empowered to address intercommunal conflict, especially after recent violence between Druze and Bedouin tribes in southern Syria, which left nearly 300 dead. Israel's displacement plan in Rafah faces backlash. Despite international criticism, Israel continues building a camp in Rafah to house up to 600,000 displaced Palestinians, with plans to expand to 2.2 million. The camp, proposed by Defense Minister Israel Katz, would be run under international supervision and exclude Hamas. Critics say it's a veiled attempt at forced displacement. Even some Israeli legal experts have deemed it unlawful. UN, UK, Austria, and Germany have condemned the plan, but hardline Israeli officials support it. Analysts say it reflects long-term goals of depopulating Gaza. U.S. Democrats warn Trump's foreign policy helped China. Democratic senators released a report blaming former President Donald Trump for weakening U.S. influence and allowing China to expand its global reach. The report cites Trump's withdrawal from international agreements and tariff wars that isolated allies. Surveys show global approval of China has increased, with many nations viewing Beijing as the world's leading economy. Trump blocks $4 billion for California high-speed rail. President Trump has cut $4 billion in federal funding for California's high-speed rail project, calling it wasteful and mismanaged. California Governor Gavin Newsom condemned the decision as illegal and vowed legal action. The rail line between Los Angeles and San Francisco, approved in 2008, was originally set to cost $33 billion, now expected to exceed $128 billion by 2033. Cybercrime crackdown in Cambodia. Cambodian police have arrested over 1,000 people in nationwide raids targeting cyber fraud operations, including hundreds from Indonesia, Vietnam, Taiwan, and other countries. UN reports say such scam networks are widespread and exploit tens of thousands. Cambodia alone may host over 100,000 forced workers, with an estimated $40 billion annual loss. And now to sports. In Paktika's Mata Khan district, the Mohammed Kel volleyball team clinched victory in a 12-team tournament. In Nangarhar's Dur Baba district, the Ijar Momand cricket team won a T20 tape ball tournament, defeating Tor Lala by 31 runs. In Helmand's Kanashan district, youth football leagues kicked off to scout players for U16 teams. Khabib FC won on penalties 4-3 after a 0-0 draw. Cristiano Ronaldo announces long-term plans in Saudi Arabia. Ronaldo says he intends to live permanently in Saudi Arabia, praising the country's security, culture, and quality of life. That's all for today's news. Thank you for staying with us. Follow Zir News 24 on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Just search at Zir News 24. Until tomorrow, stay safe, stay informed.